Something I've been toying with and thinking about for the longest time is how did it get this bad for the Democratic Party? I'm not a poli sci major, so this is just going off of stuff I've really thought about myself personally as someone who's a part of that party and someone who has interviewed a lot of people like voters who felt some type of way, who either stayed Democratic Party or voted otherwise, or just didn't vote at all. And this is some of the, I guess, some of the feelings, right? Is for one, a lot of people feel abandoned or betrayed, or just straight up don't trust the Democratic Party. I'm talking about people who 99% of the time usually vote Democrat, right? So people feel betrayed, especially people who are like in the Midwest and in those smaller towns or those smaller cities where it's like a lot of people felt neglected. They felt like, oh, my party doesn't care about me. All they care about is getting more money. All they care about is being in position to trade their stocks or do whatever they do in the stock market and just get richer and richer while they laugh at me struggling in this economy that yes, COVID was at the time of the election, like 4 years ago. Yes. But that 4 years, how much damage a week of lockdown did, let alone essentially a year of time of lockdown like protocols and slowly opening stuff back up and people who lost their jobs got furloughed or all these different things like people are still recovering from that. Yes, those stimulus checks did not do anything to fix the problem. Rent is still extremely high, bills are extremely high, people are extremely stressed, and it's if you're applying for jobs right now, it's a mess out there, and a lot of people feel betrayed and abandoned by the party they voted into office and felt like they did nothing for them. Now that isn't necessarily true. The Democratic Party has done a lot. They had to also undo a lot of stuff Trump did in his first presidency, and then start making progress. And then they were supposed to win again and make more progress. But here's the thing: they failed. Anyone who has ever ran for any type of like, you don't have to run for even official office. If you ran for like student council, for example, right? You have practice with campaign speeches and campaign promises and going on the campaign trail. Obviously, not traveling state to state or whatever, but you know what I mean, like class to class. Same difference. Let's put it into this context. A lot of the stuff that Kamala Harris was running and going on all these different podcasts and talking about was not going to win her the election. Obviously, we know the results now, so clearly it didn't work. But as important as a lot of the rights and issues that she was talking about were, as important as they are important. The people that the Dems needed to win over did not see that as the pressing issue. Who did the Dems need to win over? It was white men. I think that's fair. It was white men they needed to win over. Because not only do white men account for a lot of the vote, white men also, like a lot of the vote in general, white women also mirror that of the white men in votes, especially in some of those key states, in some of those swing states. And the campaign that they ran was clearly very rushed, and they really went on the hey, they're trying to steal rights away from you, so you should vote against them. And in a quote unquote perfect society, that would be not necessarily enough, but it would be a huge driving factor. But the problem is that the people that you need to win over, they literally do not give a shit. They didn't give a shit. What they cared about is the high gas prices, the price of food, them not being able to find a job, or the job market being really, really bleak and super competitive, and even when you win, you lose. That's what there were so many key things they cared about, and the Dems just didn't properly address and attack where they needed to. They really didn't. And there were some podcast choices that Kamala Harris decided to not go on, and she really missed the mark. She really did. She really did. Joe Rogan's podcast being one of them. I know it sounds crazy, but if you watch the session, I know it's fictional, but it's a really great telling of how much media can control and dictate real world events, especially in this country, like a country like this, in the United States, right? And I think it's also important to note that, like, how the Democrats handled the Biden Kamala Harris transition was not very well done, and it just made your party look very weak, disjointed, and at odds. And everyone who's watching, because you're the leadership, everyone who's watching you is like, they don't know what they're doing. It also looks wrong. It looks like Biden also didn't want to step down, and then at one point Obama didn't really endorse. So it's like, how's Obama feel? And they let these rumors spin out of control, where it's like, oh, Obama's not confident in Kamala Harris. Whether that's true or not, they shouldn't have even let it be a rumor. Like, they shouldn't. This is stuff you need to calculate for. It makes you look weak. It makes you look disjointed. And it makes it look there's a lot of infighting. Now, whether there was or not, I don't know. But that's what it looked like. And that is everything. Especially how like, this is coming off of Trump building his followers. And this is off of Trump also getting shot at, and writing that, like, there's so much that momentum he was gaining. I just feel like the Dems really leaned on some type of fictional society that does not exist, right? Like, they're like, they a lot of people did that. Like, a lot of people put some type of logic and force some type of logic on people that didn't exist already, and then also mix that with abandoning, like, they forgot what the United States is at the core, what the United States of America really is. And so that's what won at the end of the day. And them abandoning a lot of people, them making a lot of people feel abandoned or not heard, not seen, was a huge issue, and it showed in the polls. I mean, it wasn't even close. It showed in the polls. People felt betrayed. People felt like there was zero trust. All the good faith the Democrats earned 4 years ago, they completely botched over the last, like, a year and a half. And it just wasn't good. And it put Kamala Harris in an impossible position where she had very little time to act. She had very little time, because basically they shelved her away for years, and no one really heard much from her. They only saw her walking down the thing, like, in the White House a bunch of times in these TikToks and shit, and they don't really know who she is. They don't know why she should win. Yes, she had her speeches, she had this and that, but that's only a couple, like, when you really look at the timeline, that's only a couple months in a 4-year term that they could have built her up. Whether they want to have her to run or not, they should have still built her up, especially since they seemed like she was going to be potentially someone to run regardless, whether Biden was able to complete the next term or not. Like, she was going to be someone in the future, and they just didn't build her up. They didn't care. So when you just push her on us, like, put it on us like that, a lot of people are like, well, what's happening? So it was messy. It was messy. It was messy. A lot of people felt betrayed, and felt like there's no trust in that leadership, and they're just really tired of what, like, people are just struggling to survive every day, and they just felt like this was not it. They felt like there's no trust here, and it felt like, hey, even though it seems like you have a plan, it's like you have a plan for other shit, and we're focused on this right now. And the thing about Democrats too, they have all this data they could have put out there, And I'm not talking about a bunch of jargon. They could have put together some really strong charts, put together some really strong data that could have pulled from the Biden administration, and could have said, "Hey, these are the things that works. This is where we were at last with Trump's presidency, and this is where we're at the beginning of the Biden administration. This is where we're at now at the quote unquote end, and this is where we want to be. These are the things that have worked. Here's the things that didn't work or things we want to improve on. Here's how we want to tackle some of these foreign policies." And that's another thing, especially with the thing that happened with Gaza and Palestine. Like, that's a huge but issue that a lot of people cared about, and was, you can tell the Dems were very, very, very tiptoey scared about answering that. You could tell. Anyone who has gotten an awkward position where they got asked something and they're like, I don't really know where I want to land on this right now. I don't want to really commit to an answer right now. That's what it felt like for a long time. Like, by the time they kind of like really put their foot down on what side, like what issue, how they want to address it, it was already too late. Because you did it kind of haphazardly, and you didn't do it with conviction, and you didn't do it early on when people are really trying to see who you are and make up their mind. By the time you did it, people already made up their mind. And that's what, and again, when I covered the election night, and I was talking to a lot of people who were protesting, a lot of people who were there around the White House, and the White House is where I was at. That's how a lot of people felt. A lot of people just either full on didn't vote, or they voted for Trump for some reason. And so that's what it was. And those are a couple of things that people were saying. And I have a video about me covering a video of me covering the White House, and you should go watch that. It's a very interesting video. And so you can just, it's more so you can just see how election night was around the White House in Washington D.C. in the United States. And it was just very interesting to hear and talk to some of these people and have real conversations with them. And I felt more comfortable, the camera was in their face, so like I just had like real conversations with them, and these are some of the things that they were saying. And so at the end of the day, I rambled enough, but like, why did I make this video? Because I don't really make political videos like this, but I don't know, something I was just thinking of since election night, and there are so many conversations I've had and been having with people that I felt like this is a video that, I don't know, I guess I just wanted to put out there and really kind of toss back to y'all. Really, is why I really made this video, because I want to hear from the people this time. It's like, what do you think? What do you think happened? Because with everything that's going on right now, all this stuff, a lot of my friends are unemployed now, or have been let go, and future looks bleak for a lot of people. And so I think I just wanted to make this video to show, like, how did we get here? I didn't make the video could have been more detailed about how we got here. If people want a video like that, I could do something like that, and that would be something I do more research and show more charts and data to. But like, I just want to know from y'all, how do you feel like we got here? And I feel like the Dems have not done anything to restore good faith or even try to work towards it. It feels like they just gave up, and they're just in, hey, let's let things burn, let's get our money, and let's like recoup later. Like, I just don't feel they're actively really trying to do something here. So comment below, let me know your thoughts about what I said. Let me know your thoughts about why you think the Democratic Party failed, or why you think people still think they're failing. Do you think they're doing anything to right the ship? Do you think they're going to have a stronger campaign next time? Who do you think is going to run? If you feel like anyone's going to run, like, well, where do you think things are? Please comment below. Let me know. Keep your mental health at the forefront. Drink water. Love yourselves. Be safe out there, everybody. Peace.